good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good day, wherever you are in this big, beautiful, and messy world. I hope you find it in a place of goodness. I am Carol C.C. Miller, your positive life strategist, peace activator, and global hugger, coming to you with another episode of Embrace Your Life Chat, where the intention is to heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. So come let me know where you're joining me from. I am in Chicago, Illinois. It is a hot summer day, getting closer to fall, but it's a hot day so far. So let me know where you're joining me from, and also let me know if you're new to the community, because I enjoy welcoming in new people into our community, which is people from all over the world. So let me know where you're joining me from and if you're new. Before we get started in today's topic, I do like to go over a couple of things, especially if you're new to my work. One is I'm not an absolutist, which means I'm not a big fan of the words always, never, right, wrong, good, or bad. There are 7 billion people on the planet. I can't begin to say what is always right for 7 billion people or never right. So I work on a scale of 0 to 100, 0 being always negative, 100 being always positive. I don't know anybody at 0 or 100. I do know people who are closer to 0 and 100. My personal daily practices is to stay in the 90% of being positive, kind, loving, compassionate, and peaceful, because those are my top values to work with. So since I'm only the 90% only, that means fear visits me, frustration, overwhelm visits me, disappointment. The normal feelings that we go through visit me, but because of my daily practices, I feel them and move forward to feeling again as to who I want to show up and who I want to be in the world. So it's really not about a right, wrong, good, bad. It's where you're at, how you feel, and how you want to move forward. And so I would encourage you to ask yourself right now, whatever is going on in your life, whatever you are dreaming about to live in your life, where do you find yourself on that scale? Might be 30% of being happy, it might be 75%. It's not right or wrong, it's just where you are. But when you know where you are, it makes it easier to move forward into where you want to be. When we're just kind of on autopilot and just living life, life is living us. We are not living life. When we're aware of how we feel and where we're at and where we want to be, then we are again back in the driver's seat to be able to make adjustments to get there. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy depending on where you're at in your life right now, but it's more possible when you are aware of what's going on, that you're in the driver's seat there. Secondly, I am a coach. I love supporting people and living their best life, whatever that looks like. I'm not a counselor nor am I a therapist. And sometimes, in order to live that best life, getting that type of support is going to be what helps get you there. So, whether it's hiring me as a coach, looking for a counselor therapist, finding whatever your resources are to live your best life, I believe you're worthy of it. So, I encourage you to create that support system around you to live your best life. So, wanted to clear up those things first. I'm going to come in and say hello really quick and then go on today's topic. So let me see who is joining me today. Pranitha, welcome. Wally, hello, welcome. Pooja, I'm from Patna. I don't know where that is, but I will look at it later. Lizzie from LA, or Covina in Louisiana, I'm guessing. I always get the Louisiana and then LA confused on the abbreviations from time to time. But welcome, everybody. It's good to have you here. And if I've missed somebody, it is because sometimes I don't see all the comments that come through. And I do come back later and look at the day too to see what I might have missed. If you have a comment on today's topic, please let me know. Of course, you don't know today's topic yet, so how can you comment on it? Or if you have something else you would like me to bring a little bit of love, kindness, compassion, peace, and positivity to, put that in comments and I will add it to future topics. Today's topic is brought up by one of the community members, Amy, and she is asking me if I would speak about being overwhelmed and moving through being overwhelmed and what we can do with that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I don't know about you, but I can certainly still get overwhelmed in my life, even with my daily practices to stay present, to stay in the space of where I want to be rather than focusing on what I don't want to be. Overwhelm can happen when lots of things are going well. There's almost too much going on. Overwhelm can happen when everything seems to be falling apart. Overwhelm can happen when it's a mixture of both. It's about being out of control and not within your own body, being able to meet whatever is coming because you're overwhelmed with it. Not right or wrong, just where you are, where do you want to be, and how do you want to move forward. So if this is new to you, what I do is I pick a word. Today is overwhelm. We define it, come up with an affirmation around it, and then some tips on how to bring that into your daily practices of living your best life. So the word for today is overwhelm. The definition: to overpower in thought or feeling. So keep that in mind, because a lot of time overwhelm is truly our thoughts about what is going on, how we feel about what's going on, than really necessarily what is truly going on. So when we're able to dissect it and bring it into smaller steps, that tends to release the overwhelm. May not make it go away completely, but again, it's when we're aware of how we feel and how we want to move forward, we put ourselves in the driver's seat to be able to take control over that again. So again, the definition of overwhelm: to overpower in thought or feeling. So my affirmation today, and I don't know if Amy is here with us, she was the one who asked about this. It's going to be whatever it is that you need in this moment. So an affirmation is just a statement. It can be a positive statement, it can be a negative statement, but it's something that you are affirming about yourself. You are saying this is true to you. So when you say, I don't even like using the word, but I'm going to use it as an example. I am stupid. You are affirming a negative thing about yourself that you don't like. I am smart. You are affirming something positive about what you like. However, if you say, I am smart, and immediately in the back of your mind, you're saying, no, I'm not. Just 10 minutes ago, I did something not smart, or whatever it is that you're negating that affirmation, even though I am smart is a positive statement, it's no longer a good affirmation for you because you've already negated it. So you want it to be believable, and it can be a stretch from where you are right now. So that particular one might be, I'm in the process of feeling smart. I'm in the process of becoming smart, or shift it completely. It needs to be believable for you, because even a positive statement for one of you watching may not be a positive statement for me. So it's really about saying it, hearing it, and thinking to yourself, is this true? Or is it a stretch from where you are? It can be a stretch. Maybe right now, the I am smart isn't exactly where you are, but you're in school, you're studying, you're learning, and you know, so you're in the process of it. So if it feels believable, it's a good affirmation for you. So keep that in mind. So today's affirmation, because we're talking about overwhelm, so we want to think about the opposite of that. So I choose peace. I choose calm. I choose patience. So come up with something that you're going to be able to say to yourself to bring yourself back into your body when the overwhelm is taking over. Sometimes I just use the term thank you, and I'll just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That energy of that word will shift my belief into whatever I'm focusing on that I don't want to focus on, and bring me back into where I want to focus on. I also use it when I'm grateful for something. I might just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Probably my biggest go-to is I choose peace, because when I'm in overwhelm, when I'm in frustration, when I'm in fear, when I'm in anger, when I'm in any of those normal emotions that we have, I am no longer in peace, and peace is important to me. So I go back to I choose peace, I choose peace, I choose peace, I choose peace. So that's going to be the affirmation today. I encourage you to think of an affirmation for whatever you might feel overwhelmed about that you're going to use. And please feel free to put it in the comments so we can discuss the different affirmations that we're working with. And so some tips for yourself today is, one is to ask yourself why you feel overwhelmed. Just because, again, we want to be aware of it. When we're not aware of how we feel, then we're on autopilot and life is living us. We are not living our life. When we're aware of how we feel, whether we're aware that we're frustrated, or we're aware that we're overwhelmed, or we're aware that we're joyful and happy and excited, we are in charge and in control of where we're moving forward. You can be aware of your frustration. You can be aware of your overwhelm, and being in that awareness. It's not about pretending that you're not frustrated or feeling overwhelmed right now. Those are normal emotions that we all go through, but it puts you in the place of saying, this doesn't feel good. What can I do to feel a little bit better? Or it puts you in the place of, this doesn't feel good. and I still need to feel it for a while. So it's not even about rushing through that emotion. It's something that wants to be heard and wants to be acknowledged within you of something little part of you that doesn't feel worthy of feeling happy, of feeling excited, feeling in control. So it's really about being gentle with yourself in that moment and sit there and ask yourself, why am I overwhelmed right now? That's going to help you move through it. Secondly, do something to recenter yourself. So you get in that overwhelmed space. You're aware of that overwhelmed space. One of my go-tos is only because I'm live right now, I have music on in my house probably 90% of the day. So I have a lot of joyful playlists that I listen to. Sometimes I choose to listen to more mellow, chill music. It's whatever I'm feeling in the moment. But music absolutely helps shift me into a different space. Get up and dance, sing, go for a walk, do something that's a little bit, that's shifting from where you are to help bring you back and to recenter you into where you want to be. I'm a big believer in, and I have not studied breath work. So there's many people who have studied breath work and know a bunch of different techniques for you to use. I'm not a studier of it, but it is very powerful. What I do is I'll put my hand on my heart and just take some deep breaths to help calm myself down. Count of 4, inhale, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, and then repeat it like 3 to 5, could be 10 times. But it's again going to recenter you. Tends to be, not always, but when we are overwhelmed, when we're frustrated, when we're angry, when we're any of those lower energy states, we tend to constrict our breathing because we're in that fear-based mode, and we're not even giving our bodies the oxygen it needs to make those better decisions, to feel better. So it's really about recentering, bringing it back to your body, and to be able to breathe that in, to breathe in that you are in control. And then, oh, it's okay to not be okay. Because I think sometimes we get I think this is really important for people who are doing personal development growth work. Like, I've studied this for so long. How am I allowing this to impact me the way it does? That's why it's a scale. I am not always positive. I am not always happy. I am that the majority of the time because of my daily practices. But anger still visits me, frustration, sadness, whatever still visits me. And it's okay for it to be that. How long do I want to give it the time, energy, and attention is what I work on. Sometimes it needs a little bit more time and energy and attention because I'm not ready to move forward with it yet. And sometimes it's just, okay, that doesn't feel good. And just the awareness of the fact it doesn't feel good, I'm able to let it go and move forward to feel a little bit better. But it truly is okay to feel overwhelmed. It truly is okay to be angry. It truly is okay to feel sad, disappointed, whatever it is. It's how much time, how much energy, and how much attention do you want to give it. It's 51% puts you in the majority. If you're at 40%, you're not wrong. That's just where you are today. So it's about who do you want to be, how do you want to show up, and how do you want to move forward. So next is focus on what you do have control over. I don't know about you, but I absolutely know I could give my power away to things I don't have control over. I don't have control over the weather. I don't have control over other people, which can drive me crazy. But when I start focusing on them not doing what they should be doing, I've lessened my power over my responsibility in it. Now, if people are misbehaving and not treating you well, I'm not saying to stay in that situation, but I cannot change other people. I come here twice a week, and in my coaching practices is to help other people find within themselves what they want to do, how they want to live. But I am not responsible for that change. I'm just kind of there to hold up that mirror to show them that they're worthy of having those dreams come true and that they are worthy of how they want to process and move through life. But when you're focused on other people, you're no longer in control of your own decisions. So ask yourself, when you're overwhelmed, is this something I have control over to change? Or am I giving my power to something I can't control? I'm getting overwhelmed because I want these people to do better, to do the right thing or whatever. but I can't change them. So go back into what you do have control over. And maybe the control you have at that moment is to leave, take a walk. Maybe the control you have at that moment is to just be quiet and not absorb what's going on, but rather observe what's going on. Again, it's not a right or a wrong. It's just where you are, who you want to be, and how you want to move forward. Boundaries is the next one. And boy, boundaries is not one of my favorite words. I have avoided it for many, many, many years. Set boundaries when you do teach people how they can treat you. So setting the boundaries may be the easier part of it. It's adhering to the boundary you set. And that's been my challenge. I can set a boundary like I'm only answering client calls between blah and blah. Well, a call will come in and I'm like, oh, I know that person needs to talk to me or whatever. So I sometimes will go against my own boundary. So set boundaries that you feel that you can manage. Start small, but learn to say no. If you've got too much on your plate, you're probably not going to be able to give your best to any of it because you've got too much going on. Sometimes the overwhelm is because this isn't me at all, like to be in control of everything. So when you say no and delegate and say, this is your responsibility, then you need to step back and let that person have that responsibility. Let that person do it differently than you do it. Let that person maybe not do it as well because they're learning how to do it. But it's really about having boundaries, what you can control, what you're willing to control, and what you're willing to do, and still stay where you have a peace of mind, where you're able to be peaceful in the chaos. Being calm in the chaos is possible. It takes a lot of work because when we're around chaos, I've said this before, so if you're new, I absolutely believe you could have a table of 6 people sitting at a table. If you join that table and they're all talking about the woes of their life and the woes of the world, most likely, not always, but most likely you're going to match that energy and you're going to start discussing the things that aren't working in your life, or you're going to agree with the woes of the world. It is not to say that they don't have the right to have woes in their life and the right to have woes in the world. I'm not saying it's wrong. But I'm just saying that we're giving our energy and our time and attention to what we don't want rather than looking at focusing on solutions to that and moving into what we do want. And you can go to the same table, 6 people sitting around it who are talking about solutions, or talking about the things that they love in their life. They're talking about the things they love in the world. You're probably going to match that energy. There's going to be people who don't match either. They could be at the negative table and they can stay in joy, and they can be at the positive table and they can stay in frustration. But generally speaking, we match the energy that we're around. So focus on that, on what you have control over, and to be able to move forward, to feel what you need to feel. Do something kind for yourself. I think a lot of times, especially the helpers in the world, like we feed so much out of helping other people. We get overwhelmed from helping other people. So do something kind for yourself. When you're overwhelmed, maybe take a 10-minute break. 10 minutes is not a long time for reading, but do something. Maybe go read something you want to read. Watch a funny movie, but do something. Do your nails. Whatever it is that is something that is going to be nurturing for you, I encourage you to start putting that into your daily practice. If you can, like, carve out a half an hour every day that is just me time. And it could be I take a nap. It could be I read a book. It could be anything. But in that 30 minutes, the outer world does not exist. The kids, the husband, the wife, the boss, the friends, colleagues, it's me for that moment. So I encourage you to take some time for just yourself. And lastly, I think I probably end most of the talks with this, is to be gentle with yourself, because it really is a process. It's a learning process. You're going to be better at it some days, and some days you're going to think like you just took 5 steps backwards from the progress you thought you've made. So it really is, be gentle, because when you beat yourself up, you're feeding the energy of what you don't want. So let's say you're trying to stay in calm and you go into a moment of chaos, which I promise you is probably still going to happen, but you went into chaos. You've been practicing calm for so long Chaos happens. Now I'm beating myself up because I'm in chaos. So I'm feeding that energy rather than saying, I've been practicing so long. The majority of the time I catch myself, I move back to calm. And so you're able to recognize that you have done better than you might have been 6 months ago. Or if you haven't, it's still about who do you want to be and how do you want to show up. We tend to be our worst enemy. So even when we think about all the other people in our lives that are causing chaos, our internal thoughts, if you were to write them all down or like listen to them outside of you and somebody else repeat all of your internal thoughts, you'd be amazed at how challenging you are to yourself and hard on you are to yourself. So it really is about being gentle with yourself, remembering this is where you're at, 0 to 100. You might be at 10, you might be at 90. Each one is movable. The 90 can move backwards, it can also move forwards. The 10 could move backwards or forwards. But when you're aware of it, you're aware of how you feel, you're aware of how you want to feel, then you're able to shift and adjust from that. But I would say for overwhelm, because I do know that Amy had mentioned children and jobs and a whole bunch of stuff, which would be so easy to be overwhelmed in. Boundaries. Set some boundaries. I don't know the age of your kids, Amy, so if they're still very young, it's definitely harder to give them responsibility for the things that are overwhelming. But if they are older, I encourage you to consider what they can do that you do not have to take care of to help bring some more peace to you. Take some breaks for yourself, do something kind for yourself, and be gentle with yourself in the process. So that's what we have for today is overwhelm. I'm going to come into comments. And then, of course, I'm going to talk about global hugs because that's coming up in 8 days, if you can believe it. So let me see here. Let's see. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Dee. From not so sunny Florida today. Oh, it's raining. Well, you get enough sun in Florida, Dee. You can have a little rain. That's okay. I actually love the when I'm in Florida, like the afternoon thunderstorms here and there. I love it. Lisa, I've been overwhelmed many times in my life. However, as I've done the work inside, prayer and pausing has helped. Pausing is a great tool, Lisa. True works all the time and reaching out to my trusted friends help. That's another good one, to reach out to somebody. Now, I encourage you when you're reaching out to somebody to let them know that either A, I'm looking for a sounding board, not asking for solutions, I just need to be heard, or B, help me process this with solutions. Because sometimes you call somebody and you tell them blah, 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 and they're wanting to, I'm a fixer. So I work with clients, they're coming for solutions. But when I'm talking to friends, I have to remind myself, they may not want to hear a solution right now. They may just be in the, I need to share it. And so know those differences. And also I encourage you when you're talking to friends, if they're trusted friends, I'm going to say a trusted friend would be this anyway. But as far as friendships, it's easy to get people who are going to join you in the frustration or join you in the anger. And sometimes that's helpful because they're like, yeah, that really sucks. But when they get to the point where they're helping keep you in that space rather than helping you grow out of that space. So I encourage you to just pay attention to the differences on that. But those trusted friends they're invaluable for sure. Lisa, turning my will over to God is the best reliever. Wonderful. One moment we make affirmations, next moment we're again overwhelmed. We're habitually in a loop. Well, Vivek, right there, you are affirming that you're habitually in a loop. I think the more, for me, I can't speak for you, but for me, the more I've practiced affirmations, yes, it is a loop. Yes, it is a cycle. It is life. I don't know of anybody who is 100% happy, positive, loving, kind all the time. But the more I practice it, the more I am in the affirmative place than I am in what I'm not wanting. So it is a loop, but the loops are much longer with the practice. Wilbur, hugs to you, Wilbur. I'm signing up for global hugs, Wilbur. I might have Louisiana on my list already, but never hurts to have more than one location. Need to hear this today. Wonderful, Dee. Hello, Kathy. Good to have you here. So I think I have answered everybody's questions, and I have a noon meeting. Global free hugs. So 2008, I started offering free hugs from watching one man's video on YouTube. Go to YouTube, and think it's called the Hug Campaign. You could probably put free hugs in, and that will be the very first hug video that pops up. It has millions, I don't know, 50 million, some crazy number of views. I saw that video, was not a hugger, but thought it fit who I wanted to be and the work I wanted to do with Positive Focus. Went out, offered hugs. Started offering them globally that same year in 2008. 20 and 21, we have not offered global hugs because of COVID. COVID is still an issue, and so I want people to follow their areas and know what's going on there. But I'm going to post a link, and it's writing a sign. I should have my free hug sign here for me. Writing a sign, piece of cardboard big enough for people to see who are walking by. Go to a public location, hold the sign up. You can say free hugs if you want. You don't have to. Some people just hold the sign up. Here's where I will use the word always. It is always an invitation. You cannot insist upon somebody hugging you. You cannot force a hug on people. It's an invitation for them to come get a hug. And then it's really about spreading love and kindness with one hug at a time. When I started doing it, I saw the positive impact of people feeling seen and noticed in this world. And that's what I'm about. So it has been it really has changed my life and my trajectory with Positive Focus and even the coaching work that I do. So I encourage you to go to that link, look it up, see if it's of interest to you, sign up if you are interested. I really encourage you to sign up anyway, because even if you're not ready to go out and hug potential strangers, which I promise you I was terrified when I started, that weekend in 8 days, September 9th through the 11th, hug yourself, get a selfie of you hugging yourself, hug family, hug friends, hug your pets, and send me pictures for that. Like, you can sign up and it'll give you a place where you're doing a private event. And I'll include those pictures in the global album, because it really is just about loving up this beautiful and messy world, one hug at a time. So right now I have huggers on 3 continents, 6 countries, and 16 states. It's a little lower than normal, which is understandable with COVID. But I'm ready to get back out there and share some hugs with people. I will be doing it here in Chicago on the 9th. So if you're local, let me know that, and I'll tell you the time and place that will be, so you can join me on. I'm going to share this too, and then I do need to go. This shows you the locations of people who have currently signed up. And if you see your location on there and in parentheses the word yes is behind their name, then they are doing a public event where I can connect you email. I won't share emails publicly, but if they said yes, they're interested in others joining, and you want to join, I will connect the two of you to figure that out from there. So that is what I have for you today. It's Thursday. I will be back on Tuesday, 11:30 Chicago time. Don't know the topic yet, but it will be something to help heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. So go out there. I will come back later and check comments to see if I've missed anything. I hope to see some hug signups come in through my inbox today. But if not, hugging you virtually, please take care of yourselves. Please be gentle with yourselves, and know loneliness, disappointment, frustration, anything that is what we consider a heavier energy is normal. It's okay. It's how long do you want to give it the time, energy, and attention, and how do you want to show up in this world for yourself and for others. Small little steps forward to feel a little bit better. And I promise you that when you make it a daily practice, yes, I don't remember who mentioned that it's a loop. The loop stretches out. You're going to find yourself in a space of feeling peaceful more than you feel overwhelmed. You're going to find yourself feeling happy more than you're feeling the sad. Sadness is not wrong. Grief is not wrong. Frustration is not wrong. All of those feelings aren't wrong. How much time, energy, and attention do you want to give them? So that's what we have for you today. So take care. Thank you for joining me. I'm so very grateful for this community, and I hope to see some hugs come in for today. So take care. Remember, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to the world, and most important, you matter to you. So long for now.